welcome to ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups, technology and entrepreneurship. I'm Chandra Srikanth coming to you live from India's startup capital, Bengaluru. And Krishna, we have a very special show for our viewers today.
Absolutely. This is Krishna Kumar coming to you live from ET Now's Mumbai studios. And yes, it is a very special show lined up because over the last week, last time we had Startup Central, we spoke to you about the big trends that sort of covered the year 2016. But today, we have a very special trend forecaster. The trends that we here at Startup Central think will occupy the startup and entrepreneurship space in the new year 2017. And to kick it off, let me hand it back to Chandra in Bengaluru.
And these trends, Krishna, are not coming from you or me, but 15 key influencers of the startup ecosystem, be it investors, policy advocates, or entrepreneurs themselves. These 15 people are really big voices in the startup ecosystem, and they've generously agreed to share their trends, their views that they believe will shape the startup ecosystem. We kick it off then with influencer number 1, NANDAN, co-founder of Infosys, former chairman of UIDAI, who's made an amazing transformation from an unremarkable career in politics to being one of the most talked about startup evangelists in town. Now, his key trend for 2017 is the accelerated usage of India Stack. Remember, India Stack is a cause that NILEKANI has been advocating quite actively. It's a technology platform on which one can build products that are cashless, presenceless, paperless. And NILEKANI really expects this to kick off in a big way on the back of remonetization and the government's push for a cashless economy.
Unremarkable career in politics, Chandra, but certainly at the opposite of that elsewhere. So time now for our second forecaster, who is a very famous person whom we've all been hearing out ever since the government announced the demonetization drive. Our second forecaster and influencer is perhaps one of the biggest beneficiaries of the demonetization and remonetization. Paytm founder and CEO VIJAY SHEKHAR. His key prediction for the year 2017 is that consumers increasingly will stop looking at the difference between digital and cash, because digital will permeate everything that we do in payments. It will be interesting to see if this can be accomplished with lesser pain going forward, Chandra, and not what you've been witnessing over the last 50 odd days.
Right, Krishna. And influencer number 3, Sharma, the co-founder of think tank iSpirit, which started out as a big platform for software product services, but it's increasingly become a very key advocacy think tank, a policy think tank that works very closely with the government to shape policies for startups. And Sharma's key trend for 2017 is that he sees a huge opportunity for startups in the Bharat market, so to speak. He believes that startups who are looking at the middle layer, the layer that is yet untapped by most entrepreneurs, this will be a big push thanks to the recent efforts around financial inclusion, digital and remonetization. It will be interesting to see, Krishna, how many startups actually tap into the Bharat market in 2017.
Very interesting to see, the startup market, how it will pan out in the year 2017, Chandra. But on that note, it's time now for trend number 4, where our next influencer is an investor who won the ET Midas Touch Award for his successful track record in picking winning startups, a portfolio that includes the likes of Quikr, Ola and Stayzilla. Two trends that AVNISH BAJAJ of Matrix is banking on is that fundamentals will start outperforming sentiment, driven by an inflection in data usage. He also expects new data-driven business models that will emerge, and that startup founders will be celebrated once again based purely on performance.
Influencer number 5, Krishna, the key enabler of the startup ecosystem. We are talking about PADMAJA RUPAREL, the president of the Indian Angel Network, which, remember, champions a lot of angel investments in the country. She has given us 2 key trends for 2017, one of which is she expects startups to build more robust businesses that will not just chase growth at the cost of profitability, but those that will focus both on the top line and the bottom line. The second big trend that she's outlined for us is the focus on new and emerging sectors. So be it the like of agri, healthcare, sanitation, waste. besides a lot of thrust on the rural economy.
All right, Chandra, here's wishing PADMAJA RUPAREL all the good luck with the focus on profit and new emerging sectors. Very, very important at this stage, Chandra, don't you think, for the Indian startup ecosystem, and been a year roughly since the announcement of the Startup India, Stand Up India program from the government. On that note, it's time to move on to influencer number 6, who is one of the most prolific investors in the startup ecosystem here in India. And we are talking about former Infosys co-founder and now Mohandas Pai, who's putting the money and equity he earned at Infosys to good use through investments via Aarin, Xfinity, and his own family office as well. Now, he is a key contributor and a player in the startup ecosystem. The key trend that he expects is an accelerated thrust on AI, or artificial intelligence and machine learning, by startups. And that's one key trend he's talking about, and also more ventures that are based on these futuristic technologies. Chandra, we here at ET have always been speaking about how artificial intelligence and machine learning are certainly the technologies of the future, and it's not too much in the distant future. It's going to happen like very, very soon. It's happening as we speak. Robotics companies from across the world are trying to set up shop here in India to cash in on the Make in India program. And also, if he's saying it, it's very, very important to note that it's a wake-up call that AI and machine learning are here to stay, and only doubt is how many job losses will they result in, because that's been a major fear as well, isn't it, Chandra?
It's something that I fear about every day, Krishna. But with that, moving on to an entrepreneur that we have now, Kunal Shah, the founder of Freecharge, who successfully founded and sold this company to Snapdeal. Remember, Freecharge is another big beneficiary of the whole move to go cashless, digital, and it's something that has been capitalizing on in the last few weeks. But a key trend that's come from Kunal Shah is that he expects startups to really be more innovative versus becoming clones of the West to create value in times to come. Clearly, Krishna, this is, a whole take on how increasingly startups must move away from just being mental models of the West to focusing on India-specific problems, coming up with India-specific solutions. Must hear what Kunal Shah has to say, because remember, he is a big influencer on social media, especially Facebook.
It's a very crucial point he's making as well, Chandra. Even as India's startup ecosystem is growing and evolving, there is the problem of ideas which are just not really necessarily innovative. They're just like, one Me Too startups or Me Too ideas coming to the fore. It's very, very important that, in fact, we've seen these Me Too ideas go down under as well, through the many shutdowns we've seen in the year 2016. So innovation and real innovation, actually new ideas, will be the key for the success of startups from 2017 onwards, if I may, not just the year 2017. So Kunal Shah making a very valid point over there, but we'll have to see how that works out in the fintech space where he is involved in, where there are so many similar ideas operating at the same time as well that we have to note. But moving on here on the show to our next influencer, number 8, that is Ganesh, a serial entrepreneur with investments such as Big Basket, Fresh Menu, and Portia. And he sees two trends shaping the startup ecosystem in the year 2017. He sees B2B startups gaining traction, especially in spaces such as SaaS, e-commerce, and logistics. Now, that's a key trend, B2B startups and niche vertical startups that he's talking about. He also sees an increasing focus on niche vertical startups. For example, a startup that would offer a diet for those with a particular health condition. For example, that's an example that Ganesh gave us. But again, on a very, very important point, when you talk about startups in this country, Chandra, we're always talking about the famous ones, the e-commerce ones, that which we get to use, cab aggregators and, hyperlocal and etc., etc. But B2B startups, for example, Fresh Tesco, which won, the award for the best startup at the Economic Times Awards. So B2B startup, SaaS startups, all doing very, very well. And coming out of my hometown, Chennai. So here's to B2B startups and SaaS startups for the year 2017.
Krishna, from one serial entrepreneur to another who you know very well, ANUPAM Mittal, the founder of People Group. He has ventures, such as Shadi.com. He's also an investor in unicorns such as Ola. And Krishna, some key trends that he's highlighted for us. He expects a big push as far as local languages is concerned. I know local language is something that we've been talking about for ages, but that's one key trend that Anupam Mittal expects. His other trends include startups that will, look at the middle layer, the Bharat layer, so to speak. He also expects a lot of traction to come from B2B marketplaces, SaaS and enterprises. So I guess SaaS and enterprise, Krishna, is going to be the buzzword.
Rightly said. So I met Anupam Mittal just a few years ago, and the funny thing is that as many startups as he invests in on a yearly basis, I think he exits as many, or if not more, because that's how that's the kind of shrewd investor that he is, and very keen on backing startups with new ideas, making his share as an angel investor, apart from running his own people group venture. And it's not been yesterday or last year that Anupam is doing. Anupam has been doing it long before startups became headlines on newspapers and TV channels like the way they are right now. So Anupam Mittal, local language and B2B marketplaces. Chandra, I have to admit at this point in time, he said that Shadi.com, he found it very difficult to penetrate in the south because culturally it's so different that like a Bharat matrimony or Tamil matrimony does far better than Shadi.com in say Tamil Nadu. So that's something straight from Anupam Mittal. So it'll be interesting to see how his trend plays out. I think I completely agree with the local language and B2B marketplaces, very important trends to watch out for. But on that note, it's time now to move on to trend number 10, and which comes from Sanjay NATH of Blume Ventures, an early stage fund whose investments include the likes of Grey Orange, Taxi for Sure, and Now Floats. Now he expects, Sanjay NATH expects startups to go after new pain points like demonetization, skill development, and UPI and turn them to a core advantage. And also expects them to go global beyond the valley. Now think places such as Southeast Asia or the Far East and Middle East that are becoming attractive bets. Many startups, be it VOD players, all looking at the market that entirely comprises of Southeast Asia, the Middle East, the Far East, and India as one cluster. So one is of course killing the pain points, which I think at the end of the day all startups are trying to do, but that will be a key trend, keeping in mind the kind of pain that demonetization has caused to people in this country, and of course new markets. And doesn't have to be the bays, one of the many bays that Travis Kalanick talks about. It's not necessarily San Francisco Bay Area, but also Beijing and other parts of Asia and East Asia.
Krishna, on to our next influencer. We had her on our show just a few weeks back to talk about all the startups that shut down. We are talking about NEHA Singh, the co-founder of Traction, but no worries, she's not talking shutdowns in her trend this time around. In fact, she's pretty positive about two aspects, Krishna. One of which is global SaaS. I know SaaS is becoming a favorite on this show with pretty much all our influencers. So global SaaS is one key trend that NEHA Singh has picked out. The other, and this is important for startups seeking some new avenues of funding, she sees more investment action coming out, not just from US-based funds, but a lot from East Asia, Far East, a lot of funds that are opening their purse strings in Asia. So for startups who struggle to raise funds from, the marquee funds in the US, I guess you have new avenues to look forward to. She also believes the whole frenzy around consumer internet in the last couple of years is going to give way to B2B and SaaS in a big way.
SaaS is, I'm guessing, the buzzword for the year 2017, Chandra. It's been under the radar for the year 2016, but I'm sure it's going to make all the right headlines in the year 2017, considering the kind of progress has been made over the last year or so. Now, time now for the next trend, number 12 that is, and one key mover and shaker of the startup ecosystem is our good friend Ravi Gururaj, the chairman of NASSCOM Product Council, who is driving the 10,000 Startups initiative at NASSCOM. His two key trends for the year 2017 is a focus on niche startups with B2B e-commerce and verticals targeted at the small and medium businesses. Keep in mind, Mike, Google was talking about the same thing when Sundar Pichai was here last week. The focus on small and medium businesses is likely to gain steam as they come more digitally aware because of demonetization and, of course, smartphone penetration.
Up next, Krishna, we have an influencer, an entrepreneur who's managed to weather the worst of the storm as far as the hyper-local space is concerned and come out unscathed, though he's had to undertake consolidation himself. We are talking about Hari Menon, the co-founder of online grocery venture BigBasket.com. It really managed to survive the last year despite a lot of pain at its contemporaries like Pepper Tap, like Grofers. And a key trend that Hari Menon expects in 2017 is, the increasing focus on bottom line coupled with top line. So it's not going to be a mad chase for growth at the cost of profits. And as a result of this, he also expects consolidation to gain ground. Will be interesting, Krishna, what happens to the hyperlocal space in 2017. Yes. People pretty much expected that, the worst of the pain in this space is over, that, poor unit economics is what paid the price. It will be interesting to see if hyperlocal, especially the grocery space online, begins to gain traction again in 2017.
So that none of us have to go around supermarkets picking up our own groceries and let it get home delivered with just the flip of an app. So moving on to the 14 number trend, the biggest winner in the online education space, Byju's founder Byju Ravindran is our next influencer. He's really redefined the ed tech space with his online coaching for students, and his key prediction is that technology will play a key role in disrupting services in sectors like fintech, edtech and healthcare. Digital revolution coupled with startup evolution will usher growth for these sectors. That's trend number 14.
Final trend of the show, Krishna, trend number 15, and believe it or not, we do not know if this person is a he or a she, what this person's actual name is, because this person is known as Unicorn Baba on Twitter. He's basically, he or she is basically an anonymous insider who seems to have an inside track on, all the unicorns, be it a Flipkart, be it a Snapdeal, be it a Myntra. This person just seems to know all the gossip, all the rumors that give some of these startups some very nervous moments. We are yet to establish if this is a VC, an entrepreneur, or just an insider. But one key trend that this insider has given us for 2017 is that Unicorn Baba expects a 26 to 40% uptick in startup funding this year, largely because a lot of venture capital funds are sitting on what one would call dry powder, or funds they have raised but not yet invested. Unicorn Baba expects these funds to start loosening their purse strings, because remember, valuations too are at a rational point. So with that, we come to the end of the special segment where we recapped, or rather we predicted 15 key trends coming from 15 key influencers in the startup ecosystem. But before we end the show today, a special tribute coming out to a blockbuster product, a product that's really defined a company's history. We are talking about iPhone, which completes 10 years today. It was exactly on Jan 9th, 10 years ago today, that Apple's iconic founder Steve Jobs unveiled iPhone as a 3-in-1 product. He did this at Macworld in San Francisco, and at that point, no one would have thought how iPhone will really come to define Apple in the coming years. It's certainly become its best-selling product. Here are Steve Jobs himself at Macworld 2007 when he unveiled the iPhone.
3 things: a widescreen iPod with touch controls, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communications device. An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not 3 separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
My goodness, that is some serious nostalgia, isn't it? And I bought that phone, Chandra, from the first iPhone onwards. I've been a regular buyer of the iPhone, and I can't tell you how much I'm waiting for the 10th anniversary iPhone edition to come out. I'm sure that's going to be very special. It is so special that right here on Startup Central, it is the number crunch of the day as well. The number we're crunching today is number 10, because since the year 2007, we've been 10 years of Apple's iPhone, and we just heard out Steve Jobs say it's an iPod as well as a phone. That's how it first came about, because people were big fans of the iPod, the touchscreen iPod, and then it was just a big bonus that could be used to make phone calls as well. And now look at how far this phone has traveled. Many have predicted the downfall of this phone. Many have said that it doesn't do anything revolutionarily new with every single edition coming by. But guess what? Even the iPhone 7 has put up some really strong numbers to suggest that the craze for iPhone has not gone anywhere away. It's been going up and down over the period of time, but it's been rock solid and steady. And I'm sure when the 10th anniversary edition of the phone comes out, it'll be coming out with a lot of fanfare. So we here at Startup Central are promising you that we'll be getting you all the latest updates on that. Like Unicorn Baba, we can be the Apple insider for you and get you the first updates on the next iPhone. We will be promising you that right here on the show. And with that, we're going to wrap things up here on this very special edition of ET Now Startup Central. Thank you so much for watching, but don't go anywhere. Keep it with ET Now.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.